Chapter 6. As they left the house to go to the clearing, Julius held back Simon from the crowd. "Your mother tells me she's worried about you," he said. Simon looked directly at his father. "I know she is, but believe me when I say there's nothing to worry about. The more my silver string fades, the stronger I feel." "I don't understand how that can be, though. The more it fades, the weaker you should feel," Julius said, confused. "I honestly don't know either, and I can't explain it. I just know the more it fades, the stronger I feel. I know Mom is used to the way everything has always been, but we're supposed to be the new bloodline. We were created to be different, so maybe this is just a part of something new," Simon said to him. "You may be right, but please talk to Marcus and Paul about this tomorrow. They might have some insight into what is happening to you," Julius asked. "I will, but my powers are going to be sung in 2 days from now. I don't think we have anything to worry about. Besides, if something was wrong, you're the first person I would come to," Simon told him. Julius nodded his head, knowing Simon would have come to him already if something was wrong. "Let's get out of here before your mother comes looking for us." They walked out just as Sawyer had waved in the door. One by one, they stepped through. Sawyer looked around, remembering the last time they had been here. The weather of the years and the seclusion of the location had wiped away any trace of what had happened. She noticed some new altar sites and realized new witches must still be drawn to this place for its power. "Where are we?" Paul asked. "We stand in the place of Mother's creation. It was in this exact spot where the earth formed Mother," Sawyer said. They all looked around in wonderment. "I can feel it vibrating with energy," Hannah said. "It is one of the few places on earth where the silver light and the dark energy converge. The witches come here to perform ceremonies when their covens need more powers for their spells. I think the soul hiding here must have known about it," Sawyer said. "Could one of them from all these years ago have escaped?" asked Cassia. "No witch escaped their fate that night," Sawyer assured her. "How would the soul know about the tree spirits then?" asked Julius. "Maybe they made contact when a different coven came here," Cassia offered. "No, only Fae can talk to tree spirits. No witch is powerful enough to communicate with nature," Sawyer said, the answer eluding her. "Then one of them must have gotten away from you that night. It's the only logical explanation," Marcus said. "Wait, what night are you guys talking about?" asked Hannah. "Yes, what exactly happened here?" asked Simon. Sawyer looked at Julius. "Shall we show them?" she asked. "I think they're old enough to understand their own legacy. Besides, we can look and see if a witch escaped," he said. Sawyer looked at all of her children. "It is time for you to see what powers you will be given," she said, and waved in the memory of that terrible night. They watched as 4 covens of witches surrounded their father and his siblings on all 4 sides. They listened as Albina spoke to her cursed children, and quickly deduced she was their grandmother. They watched as the witches made preparations and did chants to defeat their mother. They shuddered when stakes were raised to their father's chest. Hannah and Harlow felt tears streaming down their faces as they listened to the horrible things Albina said to their father. Their father took the brunt of both the torture and the anger she spewed forth. Then they saw their mother enter. She crackled with electricity, and she was unlike any version of herself they had ever seen. The dark energy had consumed her, and she was foreign to them, but she was magnificently powerful. They listened as Albina and the witch Dacia explained to her the choice she had to make. They watched as, too late, they realized they had mistaken her for a witch. They watched their mother control the air around her and turn all the witches into tree spirits. They heard her tell Albina that at that very moment she carried Simon inside her womb. She had no mercy and had no emotion except towards their father. She had become this terrible thing to save him. As the tree spirits shook the ground to take root, they watched their grandmother's punishment. None of them felt an ounce of sympathy towards the woman and cheered on their mother. Then they saw as their father calmed the storm of rage inside their mother until she was finally herself again. When the memory faded out, both of the girls were first to their father. They wrapped their arms around him at the time and sobbed into his shoulders. He held them tightly and buried his face in their hair for a moment, thankful for their love. "That's so awful what that woman did to you," they said in unison. He looked at their faces one at a time and gently wiped their tears away before replying, "If not for her cruelty, your mother's soul would have never been created for mine. That woman somehow brought me all of you, and I would endure that pain over and over, and then I would always have you, he told them gently. Simon and Paul heard his words and both stepped to their father to hug him. They were wordless embraces, but Julius understood their meaning. It was Paul who broke the somber mood. Did you control the dark energy? He asked Sawyer. No, I gave myself over to it. When I did, then I could harness its power and use it, she explained. Then how did you let go of it? He asked curiously. Your father. His voice lured me back from it. The first time, though, Mother had to drive it away. You've used it more than once, Harlow asked her, astonished. Yes, but that memory will have to wait for another day, Sawyer answered. You have always warned us against it, though, Simon said, almost accusingly. Yes, I have. The dark energy should only be used as a last resort. The silver light holds more than enough power for all of us. The dark energy can corrupt you. It's dangerous, she told them all. How does it corrupt us? Paul curiously. It feeds off your anger. It grows more powerful with your rage. Did you notice the more Albino and Dacia spoke, the more enraged I became? Seeing your father and aunt and uncle in danger only fueled it more. Can you imagine what would have happened if your father hadn't been able to talk me back? Even worse, can you imagine what would have happened if they had killed him? I would have destroyed this entire world. I would have reduced it to ashes, and nothing would have been able to stop me, Sawyer said, shuddering at the thought. They all stared at Sawyer, knowing she spoke the truth. If Julius had died that night, she would have become a dark fae. She would have gone on a rampage with nothing to stop her. For the first time, they understood just how powerful their mother was. She was the kindest person they knew, and if the dark energy could make a destroyer of worlds, then they wanted none of it. Julius grabbed her hand and spoke. You didn't, though, love. You saved us all, and now we are here to save you. Sawyer nodded at him. Let's find the soul that hides among the tree spirits, she agreed. Sawyer and the children stood side by side, hand in hand. They let the silver string reach for the blackness. The silver string reached out in all directions, and everyone stood quietly so they could concentrate. Julius noted that Simon's silver string was indeed thinner, and shone less brightly than the others. When Simon was first born, Sawyer had removed Julius's veil permanently. She thought it would make life easier for him if he could see everything their children could do. He now understood why Sawyer was so concerned, and he noticed a faint golden glow around his son. He made a mental note to talk to Sawyer about it. Found it, Harlow exclaimed, and Sawyer waved in her sight. I see it, and I know right where that is, Sawyer said, and turned to Celine. Come, Celine. We have a bit of a walk ahead of us, she told the seer. Everyone followed Sawyer as she led them deep into the woods. The trees rustled their leaves as she walked by them, but no breeze shook them. Is this a haunted forest? Asked Celine, unnerved by the movement. No, Sawyer laughed a little. These are the tree spirits I banished here years ago. Well, they seem angry, Celine told her. Some of them still are. They must remain rooted in the earth until they understand and respect the power of this place. This is not a place to come to cast powerful spells or to use magic against others. This is where Mother was created to protect nature and man. The power here is for good and not the evil they sought, she said, and a branch came down to block her way. She knocked it away as Celine said, Don't turn me into a tree, okay? I'll try not to, Sawyer said and winked at her. They came upon a large tree in the center of a ring of trees Harlow had seen. Sawyer stood in the center of it and turned to face it. Release the soul from your roots, Dacia, she told the tree. The tree remained still. We are here to help it, not hurt it. I know you shield it out of fear, but you have nothing to fear from us, Sawyer spoke again. The tree remained still. Hey, tree, I can talk to it if I can see it, Celine said, feeling foolish for talking to a tree. The tree remained still. Can't we just make it do what we want? Simon asked impatiently. I could, yes, but this soul hides in fear, and dragging it out will only make that worse. Dacia will release it when she realizes that we are here to help, Sawyer said. The tree remained still. Whoever created the mist will come looking for it, Dacia, and then they will drag it out, Sawyer reminded. Slowly, the ground around one of the heavy roots began to stir. The root made cracking noises as it came free from the soil holding it down. As it came further out of the ground, a black mist came seeping out from under it. I'm going to show everyone what you see, Sawyer told Celine. Okay, Celine said, and knelt down by the black mist. Sawyer waved her thoughts and sight into the air for everyone to see. It's okay. No one's going to hurt you, Celine said to it gently, trying to coax it out. Celine reached out a hand to it, and slowly it tentatively touched her fingertips. It was then that Celine had the image of a child. You're still just a baby, aren't you? Celine said sadly. The image of a child who was no older than 10 or 11 showed itself to her. Tell me your name, sweet girl, Celine said soothingly. Esme, the image said, and became clearer when she spoke her name. She was a thin-looking girl with dark hair and dark eyes. She looked lost and terrified. Celine closed her eyes, and now she sat in a rocking chair in her mind. She held out her arms to the little girl. Reluctant at first, the child took a step towards Celine's outstretched arm. Needing the comfort of being held, she hesitantly climbed into Celine's lap. Can you tell me what happened to you? Celine asked gently, rocking the girl. I don't know, the child said and began to cry. It's okay, you're safe now. Can you show me what you remember? Celine asked. The girl was standing in front of a large machine. She was alone and afraid, and a laser was pointed at her. She was crying and begging them to let her go. A bright light flashed at her, and the next thing she could remember was standing in the cold black mist. Do you know who did that to you? Asked Celine. No, I don't remember, Esme said in a baby-like tone. That's okay. Can you tell me why you came here to hide? Celine asked. The power is here. The power could hide me, Esme explained. What power? Asked Celine. The witch who has all the power is here, the child said. What is the witch's name? Asked Celine. Sawyer. How do you know Sawyer the witch is here? Asked Celine. My mother told me. She said when she was little the coven was called here. They came to defeat a powerful witch named Sawyer, but none of them returned. I need her to help me, but I found my grandmother instead, Esme explained, pointing to the tree. That is your grandmother? Celine asked confused. Yes, Dossie is in the tree, and she hides me because she says they are coming for the witch Sawyer. She says I must hide or they will find me too when they come for her, Esme explained. Who is coming for Sawyer? The science man is. He needs her. What does he need her for? Celine was becoming confused by the patchwork of information. Power. The science man can't run the machine without it. Celine decided to try a new line of questioning since none of this was making sense to her. Why do you hide if they want Sawyer? She asked. The science man has 4, but he needs 5. He can't make the machine work until he has 5, Esme said cryptically. Why did you go see Simon before you came here to hide? Asked Celine. She told us to. Who told you to? Asked Celine. The lady did when she set us free. She told me to go find Simon. Only he could stop the machine, Esme said. Who is the lady, though? Where did she come from? What is her name? Celine asked. I don't know. No one can know, Esme said. Can you show me then? Show me when the lady came, Celine instructed. Esme went back to when she stood in the black mist. In the mist stood the woman, but her image wasn't clear because of the mist. The woman showed her an image of Simon and told her to go and find him. Then she whispered the word, Ernest. There was an urgent feeling inside Esme to go and find Simon and speak this word to him. Then the image stopped. I have to hide again. They're searching for me, Esme said. Who is searching for you? Celine asked. The science man. They need 5, and I am 4, Esme said and hopped down off Celine's lap. Wait, will you let us try to help you? Your soul is trapped. We want to set it free, Celine told the child. You can't help me. Only Simon can, and he isn't ready yet. I have to hide. They need 5, she said, and let herself be absorbed back into the mist. The mist disappeared under the tree again, and the roots began to settle back in. The tree became still. Celine turned back to the group. I'm sorry everything was so fragmented, she said, apologizing. We have information now, and we can piece it all together, Paul said encouragingly. Celine, you have done something none of us can do. Your gift is truly remarkable, Sawyer said. It's late, and we have much to do now, Marcus said abruptly, wanting to go back, so he and Paul could piece this all together. Julius agreed. Yes, everyone will have clearer heads in the morning. They all nodded in agreement, and Sawyer asked Simon to wave them a door home. She had noticed his ethos string had faded even more and wanted to see if he could sustain a doorway. He waved one in. Right away she noticed his door was much larger than usual. When they waved in doorways, they were the size of a door to a home. Simon's was the size of a doorway when you entered a building, and she knew it wasn't his usual door. She didn't know if he was doing it on purpose to show her he had nothing to worry about. She did know that doors couldn't be controlled. All say had different doors, but didn't control the size or shape of them. If he was doing it on purpose, so she wouldn't worry, it backfired. Seeing his door made her even more concerned. "How are you making your door that big?" asked Hannah. "I have no idea. It just happened. I'm not doing anything," Simon said, amazed by the door himself. Sawyer knew something was happening to her son, but she had no idea what. She worried as they all walked through the door to go home. 10 minutes later, a military-like helicopter landed on the spot where they had just stood. 10 soldiers jumped down, and the head of the team spoke into his phone. "We've located the fourth asset. We'll be en route as soon as the extraction is complete." The phone line went dead, and Stephen turned to Lisa. "They finally found her and are heading back." "Good. We're back on track for the experiment's timeline." Then she said and turned to look at the 5 glass boxes. 4 of them contained the black mist, and the fifth stood ready for the one being retrieved right now. Lisa couldn't, for the life of her, figure out how they had escaped, that they had a plan ready for any situation that might occur. The souls inside the boxes screamed, but she couldn't hear them. She couldn't have cared even if she had heard them. As soon as the fifth was in place, they would be ready for Sawyer.